Become a member in the description box below. Hey people, how you doing? My name is Tim Black for TBTV. Happy Labor Day to you. That's right. I know you're feeling it right about now. You're out there grilling something, right? You're feeling great because, it's a Labor Day. And we all know how America loves its laborers. They don't. But I don't want to talk about that right now. But you know what? I will mention one thing before I talk about Joel Osteen. There was a time in this country when corporations would send little children into the factories to work for pennies an hour. And those kids wouldn't get breaks or lunch. But what they would get is missing fingers and feet. And at some point we decided, well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and cave into the groundswell of people who were fighting for labor's rights in this country. And then these corporations got a little smarter and they started building factories in other countries so they could hire kids for pennies an hour. And some adults too. Same thing. My point is nothing's changed. It just moved. Speaking of moving, let's move on to Joel Osteen. Because after the heat he took about the Hurricane Harvey and how he didn't open up his church, and he said, hey, we got to take precautions. We can't just be saving lives and stuff. It might hurt our building. And that's the nice version of all the stories that are out there about Joel Osteen and his reluctance to open up that megachurch. I took the nice path. I could be much harder on him. It's just, I want to be right. So Joel Osteen gave his first sermon after all of that controversy, and this is what he had to say. He said, we're not going to understand everything that happens, but having a poor old me mentality, or look what I lost, or why did this happen, that's just going to pull you down. It's going to pull you down when you start asking stupid questions like, why I had to lose everything. That's a stupid question. You should not be asking that. See, that's it right there. You have a victim mentality, sir. You start worrying and wondering why you don't have the proper insurance and why you've been poor and you live in this area. Well, we know why, because you are poor. You live in an area that makes you more vulnerable to floods because the prices are cheaper. So poor people live where it's cheaper to get housing. And cheaper housing is often comes with risk, like less quality construction of materials. I mean, if you're a poor person and you got a house, it's probably not built to the same grade as a more expensive house. I'm sure you can all, can agree with that. But Joel Osteen doesn't want you to look at any of these other factors that lead to these people being in this horrific situation of this natural disaster. Instead, he said, you need to think different. You don't need new laws. You don't need labor rights. You need to think different. You don't need affordable insurance in the richest country in the world. You need to think better. It's your stinking thinking that's got you thinking that you should blame anybody except you for where you are. Joel urged his followers to turn it over to God. Yeah, man, you just need to turn that whole thing over to God, man. Sitting there worrying about your situation. Turn it over to God. Leave it to God. God got that. He gonna see you through. I was raised in a religion. So I understand religious people. And many of them come from a point of view that's very sincere. What I'm telling you, I'm telling you sincerely, you need to use politics to get stuff done in your community. God may have you when you leave this earth, but while you're on this earth, you may need a little bit of politics to help get you through, because these bloodsuckers, they getting everything they can in this life. And if you don't fight for yours, you ain't going to have nothing in this life. And sorry, but this life is where your children live and your children's children going to live, and if they lucky. So how about we fight for that instead of just waiting to turn it over like life's a pancake, just turn it over to God. He's got you in the palm of his hand, he said. He's working on your behalf right now. Behind the scenes, he's lining up things in your favor. Everybody's favor? Everybody? Folks, I just want you to... Joel Osteen is a scumbag. I don't know, it's just a gut feeling. That's what I feel. You know? He's selling you on this hope, this dream, this idea, and that's fine and everything, but don't you go distracting from really what's going on in these poor neighborhoods. Don't you go distracting what's going on in America, across America. When it comes to poor people's problems, they could be rectified to a large extent if we had people holding policymakers responsible. Not waiting on God to come do it, but demanding that the people who are paid salaries to represent us do so correctly. Without bending over for special interests or big money donors and corporations to get them to bend over. No, that ain't going to get it. We don't want that part. Send it back. Send it back. That's what we want to say to this nonsense. And Joel Osteen is making lots of money by doing it. Osteen has sharp words for his critics who slammed him and his church for its delayed response to the storm. Yeah, sharp words. Joel Osteen, you need to leave it to God, man. You just said, turn it over to God. Oh, I get it. When you get criticized, you got to stand up. And you forget that turn it over to God crap. Might hurt the pocket. Might hurt the money. You know? But when it's us and it's our homes destroyed and 30 people dead due to this horrific hurricane, we supposed to turn that over to God. We got people with nothing, nada, everything they own sitting in front of their home, and you say, turn it over to God. But somebody say, Joel Osteen's an asshole. Uh-oh. Got to stand up to that. Can't turn that over to God. Got to deal with that. Got to get out in front of that right there. You don't see the hypocrisy in this, in the Creflo Dollars and the Joel Osteens. You don't see that. You don't want to see that, right? You don't want to see it. Oh, scary shit. Truth breaking through cement, cinder block, stubbornness. Oh, God, I see the truth. Tim Blackton, help me see the truth. Oh, no. Now what will I believe in? Collective bargaining, the power of people in numbers, political influence in numbers, and fighting a good fight. That's what you believe in. Not Joel Osteen and his mega church.